I always say, a good food is a food that gives our body the most we need while using the least amount of energy to get it. That is the important key. Hello, everybody. It's Paul Neeson with the Real Life Health Show. Thanks for checking us out today. It's a little cold today here in South Florida. We are in January, and it's actually, the weather today is I believe it was 60 last night, and it's going to get up to 80 today. And those of you that live in the north right now, and it's pretty cold in the north, you must be thinking, boy, I wish I was down there in South Florida right now. Well, if you're eating a raw food diet or you aspire to eat mostly raw foods, it definitely helps to be in a warmer environment. But don't let that stop you from eating mostly raw foods, because the apartments we live in big cities or wherever we are, is usually hotter in the winter time than it is in the summertime. So yes, it feels real hot in the summertime. As you go out, it's still hot. But we keep those apartments pretty hot in cold environments, or pretty warm. And especially if you have a fireplace or your heat is working well. And so yes, if you're outside, it makes it more difficult to eat a raw food diet if you're outside a lot all day long. And eating some cooked foods is understandable, and it's okay to eat cooked food. But if you spend the majority of your time inside, like most people do in the winter when it's like 0 degrees outside, you now put yourself in a tropical environment in terms of the temperature. So that's not an excuse to go eat ice cream and other cold things and frozen things and other cold things in the wintertime. But, we have to think about this cold versus warm environment and when's the best time to eat raw or not eat raw. Again, I spend a lot of my time outside, and, here's what I tell people. I say, if you eat hot food, most people eat cooked food in the summertime, well, why can't you eat raw food in the wintertime? People that are eating cooked food, I see people are outside, it's 90 degrees outside, and they're outside eating fried food and other cooked foods, and I'm thinking, man, how do these people, other people have excuses? Say, well, it's too cold to eat raw food. When you take food, if you take a food, let's say, for example, I think I have an avocado here. If you take this and it's sitting on a counter and your house where you live is not freezing, the avocado is not going to be really cold. It's going to be room temperature. Now, if you put this in the refrigerator, and sometimes you have to do that with avocado so it doesn't spoil, then it's going to be cold when you eat it. And that in the summertime, in the wintertime, might not be an ideal thing to do. So when I eat my raw food, folks, is not cold in general. All food, if you don't cook it, is going to be the temperature of its environment. So my kitchen counter is not cold. And I could eat food from there, whether it's the summer, whether it's the winter. Same thing in the summertime. Food that's on my kitchen counter is not hot. It's not like I stuck it in the oven and it's so hot that it's steaming. No. So you have to do something to food to change the temperature of the food. And the body really, we should be eating and drinking everything at room temperature. And that's the way it should be. The body has an amazing mechanism. And anytime you eat something too hot or too cold, it has to work to cool it down or heat it up. And a lot of people don't realize that. And when we eat something too hot or too cold, your immune system's kicking in, and it does take energy from the body. It's not only the quality of the food we're eating, but it also has something to do with the temperature of the food we're eating. So that's the thing. I don't know if enough people speak about that. And one of the major reasons people try to lose weight or try to eat healthy is to lose weight. But even more of a major reason, people don't even realize this a lot of times, is it's to have energy. And they think, I got to eat more food to give me energy. But if you're eating food that takes energy and you're eating more of that, well, you're just actually taking more energy than giving your body more energy. And you're actually defeating the purpose. You're doing the opposite thing than what your goal is. So if your goal is to actually have more energy, you want to eat foods that are going to digest the best. Not foods that have the enzymes in them, but you need to chew that food as well as possible. So your body's able to get that food and utilize it without expending too much energy. I always say, a good food is a food that gives our body the most we need while using the least amount of energy to get it. That is the important key. Giving our body the most nutrients while using the least amount of energy to get it. Now, the average diet, the average food today does the opposite. It gives people the least amount of nutrients and use the most amount of energy to get those nutrients, or the most amount of work to get those nutrients. So that's the opposite of our goal and the opposite of what it should be. So we want to find out how we can most effectively and efficiently get the nutrients out of the food. And part of that is doing it with using very little energy to do so. And it's not only the food, as I said, it's the temperature of the food, the ripeness of the food, and the time we eat our food, the amount we eat, and how we eat, chewing our food till it's liquefied, and mixing it around with your saliva because there's an enzyme in the saliva in your mouth, and that's going to help that happen. So these are some tips and pointers to things to think about, because a lot of people say, well, I eat a raw food diet. That doesn't mean much, because if you eat a raw food diet, you can still eat foods that aren't ideal for the body. Somebody say, well, what do you mean? Aren't there enzymes in all raw food? Yes, when you heat a food, you destroy the enzymes at a certain temperature. However, when as soon as you take a food out of the ground or off the vine, you start losing the enzymes. So some food has enzymes, up to 50% of enzymes are lost after 1 or 2 weeks of it being picked out of the ground. And a lot of the food, we don't know it is picked unripe and shipped cross country. By the time we're eating it, it's been off the shelf or off the tree or out of the vine for longer than a week. And so a lot of it is depleted. Then on top of that, you're sticking it in an airplane, and there's all these chemicals and radiation and all this other stuff that's touching your food and everything else. So all of these things add up to something that doesn't make raw food as good as it can and should be. I tell people, we should take supplementation, because we can't get all we need from the food today, unfortunately, because of the way man has destroyed the soil and what man does in the processing and everything else. That's why in the Bible it says, grow gardens and eat the food that they produce. And that's what I recommend everyone do. Grow gardens and eat the food that they produce. All right, so if you have any comments or questions, post them below the video. We have, for those of you that are in a cold environment, we have a raw food retreat coming up in February here in West Palm Beach, Florida. That's 1 month away. It's Valentine's Day weekend. We're going to have it, and I really think people are going to benefit from it. If you come on down, you can get so many tips and suggestions. It's not only me, it's a whole bunch of other speakers who know about health, healing, disease, and all this stuff. And we're going to have raw food demos, demonstrations by myself and many other raw food chefs. And the food all weekend is going to be raw. It's going to be made by Rita Romano, raw food chef and author. She used to be the chef at Hippocrates Health Institute. And speaking of Hippocrates Health Institute, we're actually going to go there and take a tour there. And lately I've been getting a lot of people contacting me. They've been finding out they have cancer or something else. And this is where you want to go. I'm going to make another video about that another time, about not taking your time, and there's not much chance for error. You got to get to these places and get this right. Sometimes you have time to figure it out, but sometimes there's no room for error, folks. So if you're trying to do this on your own and you've gotten diagnosed with something, you want to overcome it most efficiently as possible. So that's why you want to come to a place like the retreat or Hippocrates or somewhere else. I'm going to put the link below the video if you want to learn more about that. And if you want to check out my website, my member website, rawlifehealthshow.com, just click on the link and it'll take you there. And all right, folks, there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Put your comments, questions below the video. Until then, have a great day and a great Raw Life. Hello, everybody. Thank you for checking out my channel. If you want more videos, you can click subscribe here right now, and you can be taken to my channel. If you want to check out my website, you can click here, and you can go to my website. I want to thank you for checking us out. Stay safe, stay healthy, have a great day, and a great Raw Life.